Come on, focus. Good afternoon, George Cavaligos for HFT Bonds. Well, I hope you guys were in the webinar last night, or maybe in my morning email, or maybe in the chat room. You know, we talked about the 10-year going down and trying to fill that gap at that 123.22 to 23 level. Well, take a look at today's low, 123.24. I have my bids down at 22.5, by the way. But as the market came back up and as we traded back above the old lows at 07, I did get long and ran it all the way up to the 14 level, and I got out kind of early. Went all the way up to what, 18.5, 19. I still think we got some upside as long as we can hold above this 07 level. Just right around the pit close this afternoon, we did get down to like 6.5, 7 on the 10-year. It's bouncing right now. It's trading like 9.5, 10. You know, not a solid bullish reversal day. Bonds actually look a little bit better as the curve is flattening here, and I think that's a clue. Watch the curve. Lately, as it's flattening, more often than not, but not always, we've seen rallies. Sorry about the disclaimer, but the market's been, you know, chopping around in this range, not just in the outrights, but also in the curve spreads. And it's been tough. I talked to a lot of guys in the market the last month and a half with this range chop and these curve moves. It's been very difficult. You know, bonds this morning made new move lows and then reversed and closed basically unchanged. That's not a screaming bullish close, but I think it just puts us back into this kind of range trade and use this morning's lows against the old lows, you know, 128.23 in the bonds, 124.07 in the notes, against some recent highs. We didn't really break above any real strong recent highs. The bonds got above 129.15 by 2 ticks and then came back off. The notes did not get above 23, 124.23. I think we will next week. The first couple days of next week, there's no data. Monday, no data. Tuesday, no data, but we do have the 3-year auction. I kind of think the market's going to rally choppy sideways into the 3-year auction, and then maybe we get a dip into the 10-year on Wednesday and the 30-year on Thursday. It's the game plan. I think we're going to go and test that 124.23 level. I think we're going to try and test 129.20, and I think the bonds will even go a little bit further than that. I think we can get up around that 130 even area. And, you know, if you look at the active continuation charts, we do have some rollover gaps that you can keep in the back of your mind as kind of a, you know, what do the astronomers call them? Magnetars, strong attractors, you know, where the market is attracted to these gaps. Now, eventually we'll get that gap on the downside too that we missed by a tick. Predatory algos, they saw my little bid sitting down there and they jumped in front of me, right? I'm sure I wasn't the only one bidding on that gap. You know, it was, we all talked about it on Twitter and we talked about it on here. We talked about it in the webinar yesterday. You know, I'm sure those guys are fading my tweets and they're fading my tiny bids down there, right? So it was an okay day. Had a lot of strange stuff still going on. The U.S. dollar index is very weak, and that keeps bugging me in the back of my mind. I think that can be somewhat negative for bonds, but those correlations haven't been working. We have to keep an eye on that in case these correlations start kicking back in again. They're not working now. It's all about the taper, as I said in the webinar yesterday. I think Sunday night, Fari will put the link for the Thursday night webinar up for public consumption. If you want, go take a look at the website, hamzyanalytics.com or hamzyanalytics.net. I think the link for the webinar will be up on both of those under the educational videos heading. So, you know, there's some good stuff in there from Ashraf Lighty on the FX markets. There was some great stuff from myself, pat on the back, and from Fari on equities. Very interesting stuff. So if you got an hour to kill, go take a look. You can jump around if you want in the video. It'll be up there this weekend. So everybody have a great weekend. I'll see you next Monday morning, bright and early in the email and in the chat room.